We're back with another midweek vlog, and today we are talking about the downside of being a high achiever. And yes, I know those words together don't really make sense, right? High achiever, like you're good, it makes sense, but that in itself, that is the downfall. I'm coming to you as a self proclaimed high achiever. I also consider myself as like a first generation. I'm the first person in my family, my immediate family, to go to college. My grandma went to college. My mom went to college after I graduated from college. So she now has her college degree, but I was the first to go through the process. And I consider myself like an older sister as well. So I definitely know a lot when it comes to being in this role of being a high achiever, being the first in your family to do things. And that has great great benefits, but it also comes with its downsides. And I want to talk a little bit about those downsides today. This video isn't a complaint. I think it's definitely a perspective that we don't hear a lot of, but I do think there's been a lot of social media, a lot of TikToks coming out about like being the oldest daughter and things of that sort. I don't know if men feel the same pressure or not. I'm speaking from my experience, and that's what we're going to stick with. One of the first downsides that comes to my mind is being overlooked. So if you've always been in this mindset of achieving things, or always taking the initiative to learn about things, or just always being successful at whatever you attempt to achieve, or not even if you don't achieve success, if you just learn the lesson, you're kind of like, oh, I'll get them next time, Tiger, right? You just generally have that predisposition. It gets to the point where people expect that from you all the time. So your attempts are overlooked. That's why I think I'm gotten to a point where I acknowledge my small efforts. I acknowledge the tiny steps. I am extremely grateful for the little things that I do, because if I don't acknowledge it, more than likely no one else will, right? So that is the reason why it's so important to celebrate your wins, no matter how little they are, no matter how small they are. And I think I've also gotten to that point too, where it's kind of like, if I don't do a big thing, then I haven't done anything. After I purchased this house, I was kind of like, well, damn, what can I do next? Like, what big external accomplishment can I have now? And I don't have one. I don't have a big external accomplishment that came after buying this house, because after you graduated college, you got your first job, you bought a car, you bought a house. I mean, I guess getting engaged, that tells you what type of woman I am. I got engaged, right? Some will say that's an accomplishment. I don't know if that's an accomplishment. I've accomplished anything, but I mean, that definitely gives me new milestones to look forward to, because I've been hardwired to look for these external validators of success, right? So I guess getting married will be an accomplishment, because we are saving a lot of money for that and doing a lot of planning. So I think the execution of that will be the next big milestone in my life. It will be. But when you're constantly performing well, that becomes the baseline, and that becomes what you expect from yourself and what others expect from you as well. So if you don't execute or perform as well as you did last time, it's kind of like a little letdown. It's kind of like, try again, sweetie. But on the other side, we know people that are, and I'm not putting anyone down right now. This is just us girls talking right now. If there's someone who's not always doing the right thing, or doesn't always hit those milestones, or haven't hit those milestones, right? When they do something remotely good, everyone cheers for them. And that's awesome. They deserve that, right? But it's like the tiniest thing that they do, they have the entire world's support behind them. But as a high achiever, when you do a tiny thing, it's kind of like, well, duh. What else did you expect? You were going to do that. And then that makes me think about what happens on the other side. So what happens when the high achiever doesn't necessarily do the right thing, or they fall from grace, right? You're somewhat put on this pedestal. And once you take a nosedive from that pedestal, once you prove that you're not perfect, or you make a mistake, or you slip up, that one slip up is going to follow you. Those negative things that you do, those mistakes that you make as a high achiever, they tend to follow you for the rest of your life. And some people will never let you forget that it happened. And that's okay, right? It happened. And it, especially if it hurt other people, like, talk about it as much as you want, but just know that that will never go away if you are a high achiever. Meanwhile, when there are people that do mess up a lot, they are given empathy, they're given grace, right? They're given time to grow, but all of us didn't necessarily have that room to explore or grow or get to know ourselves. I'm grateful for the time that I had definitely in college to grow, explore, learn who I am, like really lean into being human. I think that that was great. College was definitely very humbling for me as a high achiever because I was used to being the best in the room or one of the best. And when I got to college, I was like, guys, I need time to catch up. But it's great to put yourself into positions where you will be humbled. Y'all know I'm humbled in dance all the time. Humbled. And I love it, right? It gives me something to aspire to, something to grow towards. And maybe that's my flaw right there. I talked about this in a video I just recorded about my 600-pound life and all the lessons I learned from it. And I talked about like addictions can look different ways. We think that, alcohol and drugs is the only addiction you can have, but we all have our addictions. In my 600-pound life, in their case, their addiction is food primarily. But we could be addicted to shopping. We could be addicted to social media. In my case, I'm addicted to being busy. I'm addicted to being productive. And I've learned, I'm trying to learn the difference between being busy and being productive because I don't want to just be doing things just to do them. If there's nothing to do, that's okay. It's okay for me to sit down. I don't even know where I was going, but I'm looking down at my notes and I know I wanted to talk about perfection. Being this high achieving person, you always want to have this sense of, oh, perfection, you fall from grace. Got it. Okay, so the perfectionism angle, you start to internalize that perfectionism on your own. You start to have these expectations for yourself. And we all know nothing and no one in this world is perfect, and it will never be perfect. And then the last thing I want to talk about with this topic is motivation. We always see like the meme about like check on your strong friends, right? I'm the strong friend, guys. Check on me, please. And when you are a high achieving person, you kind of set this standard that like I don't need anyone to check on me, like I got you. But I've gotten to a point now where I'm like, I actually want to sit back and have others cheer me on, right? Have others reach out to me, have others make plans, because I think I've spent so much time taking the initiative in relationships, and I don't want that to be my default position. I want to be in community with people where it's flexible, where if I'm not feeling my best, I know I can count on you to fill in the gaps. And if I'm always at this high performing space, then what happens when I'm not? Does that mean the reservations don't get made? Does that mean we never see each other? You're typically the person that cheers everybody on, but who's cheering for you? I love how I'm looking out the window. I'm very introspective right now. Who's cheering for you, right? And it's twofold. Maybe people don't cheer for you because they think you got it all together, but maybe you don't accept cheers. We talked about accepting compliments. Like a compliment is someone cheering you on. Maybe you don't accept them. So as a high achiever, you also need to take a step back and think, what blockers are you putting up that aren't allowing like compliments and cheer and grace to penetrate? Are you projecting this hard shell external, like I never mess up, I'm never perfect? Or are you cognizant of calling out your mistakes? It makes me think about like this influencer isn't relatable anymore chatter, right? I understand or influencer not being relatable because in some cases audiences have put them on a pedestal. Audiences have said, oh my God, this is the it girl and she can do no wrong in my eye. And then as soon as she does wrong, all of a sudden you are totally against her, right? That can happen in real life. The people in your life, your family, your friends, they can have you on a pedestal, but as soon as you do something wrong, they are all against you. You are the worst person ever, and they can't believe you did that. But that doesn't happen for everybody. There are people that they just don't expect anything from, and then when they do good, they get all of the applause in the world. So this was just something I just wanted to chat about. It was on my heart when I was walking the other day, and I just pulled out my phone and like did a quick voice memo to remind myself to record a quick video about this. So Tell me your thoughts. Like, are you one of these high achievers? Are you in community with a high achiever? What could high achievers do to not feel this way? I think I'm getting to a better balanced place in my life where this isn't my case anymore. This was definitely the case in my 20s. So I'm definitely more aware of things, especially my actions, how they're interpreted, just through lessons I've learned in my personal life and professional life as well, about how people perceive me and how I need to communicate it to let them know that, yes, I am a high achiever, but also I need grace as well. I will leave it there. Tell me your thoughts below, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, I hope you have a positively productive, self-loving day. Bye.